My office is under construction, so I'm sharing a brief thought for my home. What is Mario Cuomo thinking right now? I'm not here to throw salt on the resignation of Governor Andrew Cuomo, but rather to make an important point. As I was driving across the Tappan Zee Bridge, now Mario Cuomo Bridge, I was thinking, what is his father thinking? Sometimes people make decisions in life and they think it's privacy of their own home, but they don't realize that every decision that we make reflects both on our past and on our future. And unfortunately, the governor did not appreciate that. But I share this idea with you this morning, not to comment on Governor Cuomo, but to comment on each and every one of us. That notion of recognizing that we all have moral choices to make. And in those moments, we need to figure out how do we make that decision based on conviction and not convenience, principle and not pressure, can change the course not only of our lives, but also on our reputation and on our future. We see a stirring example of this thousands of years ago in the Bible. When Joseph was tempted, a very handsome man, by the wife of Potiphar, she kept on tempting him to sleep with her. And then the Jewish mystics tell us that what held him back? He saw the image of his father. And it wasn't the father just appeared to him, but he realized that in a moment of moral crisis, he needed to conjure up the image of his father to remember that what he did would reflect on his family and also reflect on his future. The question of how do we maintain that moral fortitude to make the right choices, even in the smallest of circumstances. My father, he should live in me, would always remind me, my Hebrew name is Daniel, which means God is my judge. At the end of the day, we're all accountable to a higher power. As I was a teenager, my parents would always say as I walked out the door, remember who you are. That message of understanding that character is made through the daily battleground of the choices is really the essence of what it means to maintain a good name. This also came out about 8 years ago at the time of the Beijing Olympics, where there was something called a dolphin kick, which is something that the referees couldn't even see. And the question they asked the swimmers was on the front page of the New York Times, is whether or not you are going to use the dolphin kick if you know you're not going to be caught. Some swimmers, on request of anonymity, said, I'm going to do it if I know I'm not going to be caught. But one individual, Brandon Hansen, who was a bronze medalist, said, that's not the way I was raised. That's not what I do. The key to building one's reputation is understanding that we have values, and then we have to look at every decision based on the values. If we don't know what we stand for and who we are, then we'll make decisions based on what is expedient and not as what is essential. So in this moment in transformation in the New York State government, it's not just a moment to think about what he did, but also how each and every one of us can also lead a life that is built on small decisions, and those decisions ultimately determine who we are and who we want to be. I want to conclude with a very stirring quote from a former senator, Dan Coates. He writes, character cannot be summoned at the moment of crisis if it has been squandered by years of compromise and rationalization. The only testing ground for the heroic is the mundane. The only preparation for that one profound decision, which can change a life or even a nation, are those hundreds of half-conscious, self-defining, seemingly insignificant decisions made in private. Habit is the daily battleground of character. Spend a few moments today to think about what your values are. What do we stand for? What's worth going outside our comfort zone? And hopefully in that way, we will emulate the model of King Solomon, who said, a good name is better than all the wealth in the world. And those small decisions and choices that we make every day, whether to be givers or takers, whether to cut corners or to stand for what is right, will truly be the decisions that will create a life of courage and a life of heroism, and God willing, sterling reputations for all of us, not only on our families, but also in the years ahead.